What's up, everybody? This is Jackhammer2711 coming at you today with yet another video review. And today we are going to be taking a look at the Masters of the Universe Classics Ninja Warrior, or let's just be honest, his name is Ninjor. Unfortunately, Mattel let the trademark, the copyright on the name Ninjor lapse some time back, and it was snatched up by, I think, like Power Rangers or something lame like that. Sorry if you're a Power Rangers fan, I'm not. But anyway, they send us in the month of February the Masters of the Universe Classics Ninja Warrior / Ninjor action figure as part of their Club Eternia lineup. He is the February monthly figure. He was available originally on MattelCollector.com. I think he's since now, after kind of a surprising stay, the amount of time he spent in stock, he is now listed as no longer available. But just a really cool looking action figure here in the packaging. Just taking a closer look at him here in the packaging. Of course, you know, you've got that standard Masters of the Universe Classics blister card packaging with your logo here at the top. You know, taking a look at Ninjor there in the packaging. Looks really nice. Some really great work on this figure, I think. And he's a very much demanded figure. As you see him there in the packaging, you know, you can see his weapons kind of back there. And, ooh, look at there. A couple little accessories down there in the bottom. But, of course, down here at the bottom of the packaging, you do have the name Ninja Warrior. He's an evil ninja master. Just in case you were wondering, the black outfit with red trim and those black eyes with red pupils, yes, he is evil. And they do have a little blurb here on the packaging. It says, uses special ninja weapons to chop down foes. So it's really cool whenever they, you know, can add stuff like that to the packaging here. But it is just the standard Masters of the Universe Classics blister card packaging. Just going around taking a look at the back of it. You know, you do have, of course, here at the top your Masters of the Universe Classics logo up there. And just to look at some of the other figures that were available in the line. Ooh, man, I'm having a lot of washout here on my lamps today. Just switched to some new lights, so it might be a little different. But anyway, we have He-Man, Jitsu himself, Scareglow, of course the figure we have here in the packaging, Ninja Warrior, Beastman, Horde Prime, and Psychop. Down here at the bottom you do have Ninja Warrior's bio there. If you want to take a second to read that, have at it. His real name is unknown, which, with the real names they give some of the figures or characters in this line, Ninjor actually got off pretty easy. But anyway, take a look at his bio there if you care to read that. Go ahead and do that if you want to. Of course, this was available first on MattelCollector.com, where collectors are king. And of course, they are encouraging you to collect them all, because they would like to turn a profit on these things. Imagine that. A toy company who makes toys for profit and not to please every single fan out there with every little nitpick on every little figure and give you exactly what you want and no one else wants because they don't want to turn. Guys, anyway, I'm not going to get into that right now. But and then, of course, on the bottom of the packaging, all the legal stuff. Anyways, there is Jitsu. Not Jitsu. Well, there's a reason I keep saying Jitsu, and you'll see that in a second. But this is Ninjor. Inside his packaging. Let's go ahead and bust him out of his plastic prison and see just exactly what he is working with. Alright guys, we have Ninjor out of the packaging, and I gotta say I'm pretty impressed. You can say what you want about Mattel's spike in prices, and some of the figures we've gotten really haven't been justified by that. This isn't one of those figures. He is fantastically executed, and he comes with a ton of accessories. Let's go ahead and take a look at those first before we take a look at Ninjor himself. First thing he does come with is an alternate head. If you remember, the vintage Ninjor action figure did come with a cloth kind of tunic and removable hood, and underneath This is pretty much what sat underneath that hood. This face sculpt, something similar to this. As you see there, the eyes on this thing are just awesome. He's got black eyes with red pupils painted in them, and he just looks amazing. But you know, this alternate head sculpt it's got quite a scowl on it there. As you can see, just a really angry look to his face. You know, he's got the little goatee and the Hogan mustache going there. And of course, you know, the ball top of the head with the, not really a top knot, but there's this long flowing ponytail in the back. Now the original action figure, it did not have this long ponytail off the back of its head like that, obviously because it was contained inside that cloth mask, but it was just kind of like pressed down along the back and then folded back up. But this is a much better look, I think, in my honest opinion. You know, with this kind of this wind-blown ponytail up in the air. It's not articulated. What is it? No, it's not articulated. But it just looks really, really cool. And I will pop this on the figure before video's in so you can see what that looks like for that display option. But Ninjor's alternate head looks really, really cool. I really dig this a lot. It's really, really nice. If you can see right there along the edge, it looks like just on this figure they didn't go quite to the edge of the hair with the black paint on mine, but I'm sure that's just a specific thing to my figure. And it's not, I mean, if you're looking at him from head on, you'll never see that. You'll only see that if you're looking at it from the side and you're actively seeking to see if this paint goes to the edge of the hair. But a really nice alternate head. I always love whenever they can include alternate heads with these guys. So there you have Ninjor's alternate unmasked head. He comes with a ton of weapons, guys. First thing we'll take a look at is this quiver for his bow. Well, actually, the quiver's for the arrows up here. But just taking a look at the design work and the sculpt work on here, man, just look at the textures on this thing. The Four Horsemen do an excellent job of taking these accessories and just really pushing them over the edge sometimes. But it looks like it's cast in this brown, but it's got all these nice textured details in it there. Just looks really, really nice, really, really cool. Of course, you got your arrows coming out the top that are painted in a silver color. Non-removable, but you would need to remove them anyway because there's no way, there's not like a launching mechanism or anything like that on his bow. But just a really, really nicely done. You can see the fletches on the arrows there are sculpted with that feathered texture. Just really, really nice. Really, really cool. You see you have a peg here which plugs into his back. It plugs into the back just like so. You can see the hole in the back is sculpted so it can only go in one area, one way. It just kind of plugs into his back like that. Fits nice and snug. You're not going to get that thing falling off or anything like that. But really, really cool. A nice little piece here. And as you notice, one thing that's really, really cool, I love it whenever they do this, whenever they can give you some weapon storage. That's exactly what they did with this. Just putting this back here for a second, first we'll take a look at his sword. He does come with a sword. Of course, he's a ninja, so he does come with kind of a ninja-styled katana. And as you look there on the handle, of course, it gives that wrapped look with the silver painted detail on the inside to denote, you know, that this is supposed to be wrapped in some kind of fabric on the handle. It does have some nice sculpted detail there at the end. Just really, really nice. A nice sword. Mine did come just a touch warped out of the package. I've done some work on it and got it almost straight. But just a nice little trick if you ever got bent joints or warped weapons, according to the type of plastic they use. Get a hair dryer, heat them up, and then run them under cold water, and they'll pretty much go back to their original shape with the heat. And then when you run the cold water on them, it helps them to hold that position that they're currently in. But so I'll probably do that in this little while. But it's nice. I mean, this sword's nice. It's not like anything spectacular compared to some of the other swords we've seen in the line. But it's for what Ninjor is. It's really, really cool. And look, even there on the top here of the, you can see there even some sculpted detail there on the hilt, I guess you'd call it there, the cross where the crossbar would be. But anyway, really, really nice. And this, you can store this on the quiver. It just snaps in right here on the side, just like so. And now Ninjor carries his sword around on his back like this. Really, really nice. Man, I just love whenever they do stuff like this. Because sometimes, you know, some of these figures aren't really accessory laden, but they all come mostly with at least one weapon, and they're usually pretty good about weapon storage with this line. And this is no exception. You know, it just kind of plugs there in the side. It's not in there straight as it should be, or maybe it could be, and I'm kind of anal, so I'm bothered by that, but I'm not going to fidget with it right now. You can get it in there any way you want. Ninjor also does come with a bow and arrow. It's kind of a more techie looking bow than maybe you would expect for a ninja. You know, you would expect maybe for a ninja more like a long bow with just a simple string, but it is painted in some metallic silver, and that's really cool. It's got the arrow that's sculpted in place here. Just taking a look at the sculpting details there. It's not overly sculpted or overly detailed, but still nice fleshing on the arrows there that's sculpted. And you do have a couple sculpted details here and there throughout the bow and things like that. It does fit in his hand quite nicely, as does the sword. Really, really neat. And this also can be stored. Taking a look at the quiver there, you see this right here on the back. This little spot right here. Check this out. Boom. Ninjor is basically like a man-at-arms or a grizzlor when it comes to weapon storage. Just really, really nice. I mean, I love this. I absolutely love that you can store his weapons like this as part of the display of the figure. It's just really, really nice. Really cool. Just a nice touch. Nice touch. Very well executed. The only weapon he has that doesn't have any weapon storage anywhere that I found on him so far are his nunchucks. And just taking a look at those, you know, you got your sculpted detail there on the handle, and then the chain here, of course, it is a plastic chain. It's not a metal chain. It would have been nice had they been metal, had it been a metal chain, but it's not, and I'm not really going to gripe too much about that. Would have been nice, but with everything you get with this figure, I understand if they had to cut costs somewhere, this was a good place to cut costs, in my opinion, at least. But just a really nice, you know, it's functional. He can hold them in both hands like this, you know. It's really, really nice. You know, I mean, that's like I said, they're plastic. You know, if you want them to hold a certain pose, you can, you know, use that heat trick. Hold it in a certain pose, heat it up, and then put the cold water on it, and it'll stay just like you want it. But anyway, it's really, really nice. Really, really cool. No storage for this anywhere, but as I said, he does hold it in his hands very well, and you can get some good poses out of it. So a really nice accessory. So that's basically 4 accessories for one figure. You know, so Mattel, while they skimp on accessories on some others, or maybe in areas on others, they really make up for it. And one thing I'd like to note with all these accessories, even the bow that is just one color is painted. They're not just cast in that bland plastic. They all look like they're painted in every way, in every aspect. So that's good. You know, we've seen some price increases, and you know, that's unfortunate. But hey, if we get accessories that look like this instead of those blade swords that are sorely missing paint detail, you know, hey, I'm fine with that. Last accessory he comes with is this. You might have noticed me referring to Jitsu or calling this figure Jitsu earlier. It's not just because their alternate head sculpt of Ninjor and Jitsu share the same barber. Ninjor comes with this. Now, you can put this on Ninjor. It does go around his waist, and it looks okay. I put it on him, but I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not even going to show you what that looks like, because this isn't really an accessory for Ninjor. If you take a look at it, this obviously is a callback to a character that has this color scheme for their deco, and that is Jitsu. It's got these nice ropes down here in the front, a rope belt, and it goes all the way around the waist of this thing to the back. And then, of course, in the back you see some more of that gold paint detail down here, and a little bit of sculpting detail there in the back as well. But it goes around. You got that nice demon face on the front there on that belt. But this is an accessory for Jitsu. Jitsu in his 2000X incarnation had a belt similar to this, and I think Mattel wanted to include it with Jitsu. With Jitsu, but they weren't able to. So they included it with Ninjor. It just unclasps right here on the side. I say that now, I'm like, oh, where does it unclasp at? Right here. Well, I say it does. There we go. I knew I'd get it eventually. Unclasp right there, and I have Jitsu here. Let me go ahead and take these little deals off of him. These little bladed weapons. Throw this around this bad boy's waist right here. My hand shakes so much, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm struggling with this. Alright, off camera work. Let's do this off camera. Alright, sorry about that, guys, but we have Jitsu here now, and as you see, this is obviously intended for Jitsu. I mean, this just looks absolutely marvelous. It took an already really cool figure, in my opinion. I really already love Jitsu, and it just pushes him over the top. He just looks like a much more complete action figure now. And I mean, if you're not a fan of this look with this right here, of course you can remove it, as I showed you there earlier. It just unclasps right here on the side, and you can take that off, and you have his vintage look. But this, to me, this looks much better, much cooler. He looks much more complete. We're not going to get rid of Jitsu totally here, because I do have something I want to show you that pertains to this Ninjor figure. But taking a look at Ninjor, just a fantastic figure. Taking a look at the head sculpt there, you can see those black eyes with those red pupils, as I showed you earlier. He just looks awesome. He just looks evil and ninja-y. Just a fantastic action figure. You know, taking a look at it, he's got a lot of sculpting detail here on his costume that obviously wasn't there on the original one, which was just fabric. But you know, you see he's got the studs there, some painted detail of studs in his costume. The detail that leather straps that's supposed to connect this shield thing in the front. It comes around here to the back. Just some more of that sculpted and painted detail there with the texture of the armor here and the painted stud detail there. The leathery parts of the costume are kind of more in a shiny finish, while the rest of the armor or the costume is in a matte finish. So it just comes off looking really, really cool. It really does give that effect of, hey, this is, while this is one piece, these are two different materials that make up this costume. And of course, on that original Jitsu figure, God, why do I keep doing that? Ninjor figure, this piece that is sculpted on this armor, and sculpted quite well, I have to say, it looks really, really nice, was just as like a stamp on the old fabric costume. So this is just a much better, cooler way to accomplish this. With that sculpted detail, that dragon going around this knife down the middle of his armor there. Looks really, really cool. Only minor complaint I do have with this figure, as you can see, the sash that's sculpted as part of the costume down here at the bottom, it's brown. Maybe would have been better to have just sculpted it in red or even in black. That wouldn't have been that bad. But it is brown, and you can't really see too much of it on the camera here, but it does kind of break up what, you know, the color scheme of the figure, and it's not really off-putting or that much out of place, but it is different. I mean, it is, your eyes do kind of get drawn to it, and that's unfortunate, but it's not really that big of a deal. Of course, he does have the regular loincloth and belt there. One thing that I really appreciate about this figure, they stuck with like the demon arms, or the monster arms, whatever you want to call them there, and also the demon monster feet. So it gives him this really like he's humanoid, but you know, with those eyes and then this hand and these feet, like you just get this sense of this otherworldliness about him, and it's just really, really, really cool. I really appreciate the fact that they did that, and of course you can see all that awesome sculpting detail that the Horsemen have done on there. We've seen these legs in the past. We know what they're all about, what they look like, and how cool they look. as well as the arms here. But he does have this nice red and black color scheme, you know, that really just works well for the figure. Of course, this is supposed to be a glove, but it is just painted right here on the existing demon arm or monster arm, or however you want to call it. But it just looks really, really nice. Just an excellently executed figure. It just looks great. One thing I do want to mention about him, he does have this little knot piece right here, so it's a little bit more on this side. Notice how flat next to his side the arms sit. That's because, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first figure that the new designer who works in design for these figures has worked on. He's really got him thinned out in the armor area. Just bringing Jitsu back in here. This is never something that was really that big of a deal to me. It doesn't bother me that much. But just looking at the two figures, this is Jitsu with his arms as close to his sides as he can get with that armor. And just look at Ninjor. I mean, like I said, this doesn't bother me that bad. To me, that was really one of those things that was always a nitpick. Because whenever you look at the original action figures, I mean, this is ridiculous. They are ridiculously proportioned. And so this doesn't really bother me that much. This, however, looks much better. I do have to admit that. You know, so fingers crossed, guys. Maybe we're seeing the end of the chunky armor, and we're moving more towards this much more natural looking placement of the arms by the character's sides due to the armor. I like it. I really, really love this figure. Just taking a look, the armor is removable here on the back. You can see the tabs both here and there. If you want to pop the armor off, it removes just like every other piece of armor we've seen from this line. Just taking a look at the alternate head. The head just pops right off just like the standard heads normally do. Bringing in the unmasked head there. Just pop this right on here. And there you have Ninjor in his unmasked look. Really, really nice figure. This is cool, but let's be honest. Just popping that back off and taking this head back in here and pop that back on. This is my preferred look for him. And then whenever you take his quiver there and put it on his back, and let's get his nunchucks over here as well. Let's get him in a nice chucking pose here if we can. Just slides into his hand there. Take that one, just slide it into his hand there. And there you have Ninjor. A really nice figure. I'm very pleased with the way he turned out. I was looking forward to him a lot. He was one of my favorites as a kid. But it's kind of one of those deals. Now that I have him in hand, he's even better than I ever could have even imagined. Just a great figure, nicely executed, all around, from the Four Horsemen with the sculpt to the design team to the production. It's great. I really like it. Anyway, as always, comment, rate, subscribe, guys. Spread the word. I really appreciate it. This has been Jackhammer 2711 with his video review of the Ninjor action figure from Mattel. Thanks for watching, you guys, and as always, I will catch you on the flip side.